Good morning, grade 9 students. I am Sir Ibarra Baluyot and welcome in our math class. Our topic for today is about solving quadratic equation by factoring. The objectives of this topic are the following. The learners will be able to A. Solve quadratic equation by factoring, and B. Check the roots of the quadratic equation. Before we proceed in our topic for today, let us have first a simple review. The direction is factor the following expressions. For number 1, we have 4x squared plus 8x. In this example, all we have to do is get the greatest common factor, and those are 4 and x. So we have to factor the following. So the answer will be 4x times the quantity x plus 2. Let's have number 2. In number 2, we have 3x squared plus 12x. Again, we have to get the GCF, or the greatest common factor. We have 3 and 12. The greatest common factor of these numbers is 3. What about x squared and x? The GCF is x. So we have to move, or we have to place that outside the parentheses. So the answer will become 3x times the quantity x plus 4. Let's proceed to number 3. We have quantity x squared minus 4. In this case, we have the difference of two squares. All we have to do is get the square root of the first term. What is the square root of the first term, which is x squared? That is x. And then we have to get the square root of 4. And the square root of 4 is 2. So the factored form of this expression is x plus 2 times the quantity x minus 2. Let's have number 4. In this case, in this example, we have a perfect square trinomial. In this case, all you have to do is get the square root of x squared, which is x, and the square root of 36, which is 6. So the factored form of this expression is quantity x plus 6 times the quantity x plus 6. Let's proceed to the last one, number 5. We have x squared minus 10x plus 25. Again, this is an example of perfect square trinomial. So we have to get the square root of x squared, which is x, and the square root of 25, which is 5. So we have x and 5, but we have a negative symbol here. So in this case, the answer is, for number 5, the answer is quantity x minus 5 times the quantity x minus 5. Let us now proceed in our topic for today. The direction is solve for the roots of the following quadratic equation. So for example, number 1, we have number 1, 2x squared plus 6x equals to 0. In this case, we have the quadratic term, and 6x is the linear term. We don't have a constant number, or we don't have a constant term. So what we have to do now is get the greatest common factor of 2 and 6, and that is 2. What about x squared and x? Okay, we have x. So 2x is the greatest common factor. So we have to place this outside the parentheses. It will become 2x times the quantity x plus 3. Let us check if the answer is correct. If you are going to multiply 2x to the number inside the parentheses, we will go back in the original equation. 2x times x, we have 2x squared. 2x times 3, we have 6x. So our factored form is correct. Let us now proceed to the next step. Using the zero property, let us equate this 2x to 0 and also x plus 3, let us equate it to 0. And if we are going to get the value of x, for this example, 2x equals to 0, it will become 0. Because we are going to divide this, both sides of the equation, by 0. We can cancel, or 2 rather, we will divide both sides of the equation by 2. And then we are going to cancel out 2. And 0 divided by 2 is 0. So x of 1 is 0. What about this x plus 3 equals 0? The first thing that we need to do is to use the additive inverse. So we have to add the inverse of positive 3, which is negative 3. If we are going to add negative 3 on both sides of the equation, so we have positive 3 minus negative 3, that is equivalent to 0. And then 0 minus negative 3, the answer is, or should I say 0 minus 3, the answer is negative 3. So our x is equals to negative 3. Another way of getting the answer is using this formula. If the given quadratic equation is in the form ax squared plus bx equals 0, meaning we have quadratic term and only the linear term, and they are factorable, we have the GCF, we can say now that the x of 1 is always 0, or the other roots is 0, and the other one is equals to negative b over a. So let us check if this is applicable. Negative b over a. In this case, we have 2x squared plus 6x equals 0. Our a is 2 and 6 is b. So we have 6, let us substitute to b, and 2 substitute to a. So we have negative 6 over 2, and that is negative 3. So our x of 1, or the other roots, or the other root rather, is negative 3. Let us have the checking if the roots are correct. So we have if x of 1 is 0, all you have to do is substitute the value of x of 1 in the original equation. We have 2x squared plus 6x equals 0. X will become 0. So we have 2 times the quantity 0 raised to 2 plus 6 times the quantity 0 equals 0. And any number multiplied by 0 is 0. So we have 0 raised to the second power, that is 0, because 0 times 0 is 0. And then this part will become 0. 6 times 0, still 0. So if they are equal, we can therefore say that 0 is a solution to the equation 2x squared plus 6x equals 0. What about the x of 2, which is negative 3? Let us now substitute x negative 3 to the original equation. We have 2x squared plus 6x equals 0. So x will become negative 3 using substitution. So it will become 2 times the quantity negative 3, quantity squared, plus 6 times the negative 3 equals to 0. So we have negative 3 times negative 3, we'll have 9. 9 times 2 is 18. So this part will become 18. What about 6 minus 3, or 6 times negative 3 rather, that will become negative 18. So 18 minus 18 is equal to 0. 0 equals 0. So they are equal, meaning we are going to accept negative 3. So the solutions to the quadratic equation 2x squared plus 6x equals 0 are 0, and negative 3. Let us now proceed in our next example. We have example number 2, 4x squared minus 16x equals 0. So again, get the GCF of 4 and 16. We have 4. X squared and x, we have x. So if you combine them, the GCF is 4x. After that, 4x, we are going to place that outside the parentheses. And what will remain inside the parentheses is x minus 4. Again, to check if the answer is correct, just multiply the number 4x to the number inside the parentheses, or using the distributive property. You have 4x times x, you will go back to 4x squared. 4x times negative 4, we have negative 16x. Meaning 4x times the quantity x minus 4 equals 0 is correct. Let's proceed now in our next step. Equate 4x to 0 and also quantity x minus 4. But before that, we have to get the value of x of 1 by dividing both sides of the equation 4x minus 0 by 4. So if you are going to divide both sides of the equation by 4, you can cancel this, and what will remain is x is equal to 0 divided by 4, which is equal to 0. So our x of 1 is 0. What about x minus 4 equals 0? All you have to do is use, okay, the additive inverse. So the additive inverse of 4, or negative 4 rather, is positive 4. So we have to add both sides of the equation by positive 4. So we have negative 4 plus 4, that is 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. So x is equals to 4. Our x of 1 is 0 and our x of 2 is 4. Again, we can also use the formula negative b over a if the given quadratic equation is in the form ax squared plus bx equals 0, and if they are factorable, or we can get the GCF, or if there is a greatest common factor, just like in our example. So again, the other roots will become 0, and the other roots will become negative b over a. So all you have to do is substitute. Our a is 4, and our b is negative 16. So we have negative times negative 16, we have positive 16. So this one will become 16 divided by 4. And that is equals to, okay, that is equals to 4. So it is correct. Our x of 1 is 0 and our x of 2 is 4. Let us now do the checking. So if x of 1 is 0, all you have to do is substitute 0 to the original equation. For x squared minus 16x equals 0, x will become 0. After that, it will become 4 times the quantity 0 raised to 2 plus 16 times the quantity 0 equals to 0. So 0 squared is 0 times 4, 0 pa rin. After that, 16 times 0, it will become 0. So 0 equals 0. And if they are equal, meaning we can accept 0 as a solution to the quadratic equation. What about the other one? X of 2 is equals to 4. Again, substitution. X will become 4. Our equation will become 4 times the quantity 4 4 squared minus 16 times 4 equals to 0. So we have to square 4. We have 16. 16 times 4, that is 64. So we have 64. Negative 16 times 4, negative 64. So 64 minus 64 equals 0. Okay, they are equal. So meaning we can accept 4 as a solution to the quadratic equation 4x squared minus 16x equals 0. Again, the solutions are 0 and 4. Let us now have example number 3. We have x squared minus 16 equals 0. In this case, we have the difference of the two squares. We have x squared, that is a square, perfect square, and we have 16, that is also a perfect square. But in this case, what are the factors of x squared? We have x times x, we have x squared. What about the factors of 16? 4 times 4. We have 16. So if you're going to factor out x squared minus 16 equals 0, we have quantity x minus 4 times the quantity x plus 4. After that, using zero property, equate both number to 0. It will become x minus 4 equals 0. So in getting x of 1, all you have to do is use additive inverse plus 4 on both sides of the equation. Negative 4 plus 4, that is 0, so we can cancel this. So our x will become 4. After that, let us have x of 2. Again, same process. What is the additive inverse of positive 4? That is negative 4. So in this example, we are going to subtract both sides of the equation by negative 4. Because the inverse of positive 4 is negative 4. So we can cancel this because 4 minus 4 is 0. X is equals to negative 4 because 0 minus 4 is negative 4. So why do we have arrows here? In other example or in other book, they are using the transposition method. So all you have to do is transpose negative 4 on the other side of the equation and use the inverse sign. In this case, negative, it will become positive. In the other example, positive 4, it will become negative 4. So x is equals to negative 4. But the correct way of finding the solution or the roots of the solution is using the additive inverse in this particular example. Let us now use 4 and negative 4 in our checking. If x sub 1 is equals to 4, substitute x squared minus 16 equals to 0. So x will become positive 4 rather. So we have 4 squared minus 16 equals 0. 4 squared is 16. So 16 minus 16 is 0. They are equal. So this one will become 0 equals to 0. If they are equal, we can accept positive 4. What about negative 4? Again, substitution. But in this case, x will become negative 4. So negative 4 squared minus 16 equals 0. Negative 4 times negative 4, that is 16. It will become positive. 16 minus 16 is equals to 0. So this one will become 0 equals to 0. And if they are equal, we can accept also negative 4. So the solutions are 4 and negative 4 in the quadratic equation x squared minus 16. Let us now have example number 4. We have 4x squared minus 9 equals 0. Again, this is an example of difference of two squares. What are the factors of 4x squared? We have 2x and 2x. It will become 4x squared. What about 9 or negative 9? We have positive 3 and the other one is negative 3. So writing that, or if you are going to write that, the factored form is quantity 2x minus 3 times the quantity 2x plus 3 equals to 0. After that, equate both numbers to 0. It will become 2x minus 3 equals to 0. After that, we have to move negative 3 on the right side of the equation using the additive inverse. What is the additive inverse of negative 3? The inverse of negative 3 is positive 3, so we have to add both positive 3 on both sides of the equation. After that, we can cancel this. So bring down 2x, and 0 plus 3 is 3. It will become 2x equals to 3. After that, to get the value of x, we have to divide both sides of the equation by 2. We can cancel this, and the value of x will become our x of 1 is 3 over 2 or 3 halves. Let us now proceed on the next number. We have 2x plus 3 equals 0. Again, same process. In this case, we are going to transpose 3 on the right side of the equation. But the proper way of doing that is using the additive inverse. So what is the additive inverse of positive 3? It will become negative 3. So we have negative 3 both sides of the equation, left and right. So we added negative 3 on both sides of the equation. So we can cancel this because 3 minus 3 equals 0. Bring down 2x. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. So the answer or the equation will become 2x equals to negative 3. After that, to get the value of x, we have to divide both sides of the equation by 2. So we can cancel the coefficient 2 and the denominator 2. So what is left is x is equals to negative 3 halves. So we have positive 3 halves for x of 1. X of 2 is negative 3 halves. Let us now do the checking. If x of 1 is equals to 3 halves, using substitution, all you have to do is substitute. So we have 4 times the quantity 3 halves raised to 2 minus 9 equals to 0. The first thing that you need to do is do the exponent. So what is the square of 3? That is 9. What is the square of 2? That is 4. So it will become 4 over 9. After that, we can cancel 4 and 4. Or you can also do the proper way. 4 times 9, that is 36, divided by 4, that is also 9. So it will become 9. Bring down negative 9 equals to 0. 9 minus 9 is equal to 0. We have equal, so meaning 3 halves will be accepted. What about the other one? If we have negative 3 halves, same process. All you have to do is substitute negative 3 halves sa x. Our equation will become 4 times the quantity negative 3 halves, quantity squared minus 9 equals to 0. Again, what is the square of 3? Okay, 9. What is the square of 2. We have 4. Again, negative will become positive because we multiplied two negative numbers. Negative 3 halves times negative 3 halves, it will become positive 4 over 9. Again, we can do the cancellation, or 4 times 9 is 36, divided by 4, still 9. So 9 minus 9 equals 0. It is equals. So we are going to accept 3 and 3 halves rather, and the other one is negative 3 halves. So the solutions rather to the quadratic equation 4x squared minus 9 equals 0 are 3 halves and negative 3 halves. Let us now have example number 5. In this example, x squared plus 10x plus 25 equals 0. It is called a perfect square trinomial. If we have perfect square trinomial, we can change that into square of binomial. How? Get the factors of x squared, that is x times x. After that, factors of 25 that are the same, 5 and 5. So we have x plus 5 and the other one is x plus 5. After that, if you want to check using the FOIL method or any other method, all you have to do is multiply these two numbers inside the parentheses and you will go back in the original equation. So we have quantity x plus 5 times the quantity x plus 5 equals 0. Equate both number to 0. So we have x plus 5 equals 0. Now we have to move 5 on the right side of the equation by using the additive inverse again. What is the inverse of 5? It is negative 5. So we have to add both sides of the equation by negative 5. After that, we can cancel this. 5 minus 5 is 0. That is why our x is equals to negative 5 because 0 minus 5 is negative 5. Our x of 1 is negative 5. What about the other one? We have x plus 5 equals 0. Again, we have to move 5 on the right side of the equation. The right way of doing that is using the additive inverse. What is the additive inverse of positive 5? That is negative 5. So we have to add both negative 5 on the right and left side of the equation, just like what we did in this example on the left side. So the answer will become the same. Our x of 2 is equals to negative 5. In this case, x of 1 and x of 2 are the same. We have negative 5. So if we are going to check, we can only use negative 5. Again, by checking, all you have to do is substitute negative 5 to x. It will become quantity negative 5 quantity squared plus 10 times negative 5 plus 25 equals 0. So negative 5 times negative 5, positive 25. 10 times negative 5, negative 50. Bring down 25 equals 0. So we have 25 minus 25, or rather 50. 25 minus 50, that is negative 25 plus 25, we have 0. So 0 equals 0. Therefore, we can accept negative 5 as the solution in our quadratic equation x squared plus 10x plus 25. Let us now have example number 6. We have x squared minus 2x minus 15 equals 0. In this case, still it is an example of perfect square trinomial. But in this case, we don't have similar factors. So let us check. We have x squared, the factors of x squared, x and x. What about negative 15? Okay, all you have to do is get the factors of negative 15, and if you are going to add those two factors, the result is negative 2. So it will become 5 and 3. But which one is positive and which one is negative? To make it negative 2. So negative 5 and positive 3. Okay, so we have quantity x minus 5 times to the quantity x plus 3 equals 0. After that, equate x minus 5 to 0. We have to move negative 5 on the right side of the equation, again using the additive inverse. What is the additive inverse of negative 5? That is positive 5. Both sides of the equation, left and right. So we can cancel this. X is equals to, or x is equal to rather, 0 plus 5 is 5. So x is positive 5. What about the next one? So we have x plus 3 equals 0. We have to move positive 3 on the right side of the equation using the additive inverse. So the additive inverse of positive 3, we have negative 3. Positive 3 minus 3 equals 0. So bring down x, and 0 minus 3 is negative 3. So x is equal to negative 3. Our x sub 2 is negative 3 and our x sub 1 is positive 5. Let us now do the checking. If x sub 1 is equals to 5, let us substitute the value of x to 5, and the equation is x squared minus 2x minus 15 equals 0. X will become 5. So we have quantity 5, quantity squared, minus 2 times 5 minus 15 equals 0. So we have 5 squared, we have 25. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10, and bring down negative 15. So we have 25 minus 10 minus 15. The answer is 0, because 25 minus 10 is 15, minus 15, we have 0. So 0 is equal to 0. Therefore, we are going to accept 5 as a solution in this quadratic equation. X squared minus 2x minus 15 equals 0. What about x sub 2? Same process. X will become negative 3. So we have quantity negative 3, quantity squared, minus 2 times the quantity negative 3 minus 15 equals 0. So we have negative 3 squared, negative times negative positive, it will become positive 9. Negative times negative 2 times negative 3, we have positive 6, bring down negative 15. After that, add 9 plus 16, that is 15, minus 15, our answer is 0. So 0 equals 0, we have equals, therefore, negative 3 is a solution to the quadratic equation x squared minus 2x minus 15 equals 0. Let us now have example number 7. We have x squared plus 3x minus 28 equals 0. Again, the factored form, we have to get the factors of x squared, x and x. What about negative 28? What are the factors of 28? And if you are going to add 28, it will become positive 3. Okay, we have 7 and 4. But what or which is positive or which is negative? Okay, 7 is positive and negative 4 is the other one. So we have quantity x minus 4 times the quantity x plus 5. Equate x minus 4 to 0. Again, we have to move negative 4 on the right side of the equation using the additive inverse. So the additive inverse of negative 4, we have positive 4 on both sides of the equation plus positive 4. Negative 4 plus 4, we have 0. Bring down x, and 0 plus 4 is 4. So our x of 1 is 4. What about the other one? X plus 7 equals 0. Same process. What is the additive inverse of positive 7? We have negative 7. So add both neg negative 7 on the right and on the left side of the equation. So we have 7 minus 7 equals 0. Bring down x. 0 minus 7 is negative 7. So our x is equals to negative 7. Our x sub 2 is negative 7. So we have 4 and negative 7. Let us now do the checking. So if x of 1 is 4, let us substitute to the equation. X will become positive 4. It will become quantity 4 squared plus 3 times 4 minus 28 equals 0. 4 squared is 16. 3 times 4 is 12. Bring down negative 28 equals 0. So we have 16 plus 12 minus 28 equals 0. 16 plus 12, that is 28 minus 28. It will become 0. 0 equals 0. And if they are equal, meaning we are going to accept positive 4 as a solution to the quadratic equation. What about the x sub 2? X sub 2 is equals to negative 7. Same process. All you have to do is substitute negative 7 to the equation. X will become negative 7. So we have quantity negative 7, quantity squared, plus 3 times negative 7 minus 28 equals 0. Negative 7 times negative 7, we have 49. 3 times negative 7, we have 21, negative 21. And we have to bring down negative 28. So the answer is 49 minus 21 minus 28 equals 0. 49 minus 21 is 28. 28 minus 28. Okay, it will become 0. So 0 equals 0, and if they are equal, meaning we're going to accept negative 7 as a solution to the quadratic equation. X squared plus 3x minus 28 equals 0. So we have 4 and negative 7. Let us now proceed in our last example. We have 2x squared plus 3x minus 14 equals 0. In this case, we have coefficient 2. That is why the factors of 2x squared are 2 and 2x and x. What about negative 14? So we have to find the factors of negative 14, and if you are going to add them rather, it will become 3. So we have 7 and 2. But which one is positive and which one is negative? And we also have to consider 2, the coefficient 2. So in this case, the factored form, we have quantity 2x plus 7 times the quantity x minus 2. Let us check. We have 2x times negative 2. We have negative 4x. After that, 7 times x, we have, okay, positive 7x. And that is equals to 3x. So meaning the factored form is correct because 3x is the linear term. 2x times x, we have 2x squared. 7 times negative 2, we have negative 14. After that, equate 2x plus 7 equals 0. We have to move 7 on the right side of the equation using the additive inverse, which is negative 7. So add both sides, negative 7, negative 7. So we can cancel this, bring down 2x, 0 minus 7, we have negative 7. We have 2x equals to negative 7. But we only need to find the value of x, so we have to, divide both sides of the equation by 2 so that we can cancel 2, the coefficient 2 in x, and the denominator 2. So what is left is x is equal to negative 7 over 2. And that is our x of 1. Negative 7 over 2. What about x of 2? We have x minus 2 equals to 0. Using the additive inverse, we have to move negative 2 on the right side of the equation. So negative 2 will become positive 2 because that is the additive inverse. And we are going to add both sides of the equation by the additive inverse, which is positive 2. So we can cancel this, bring down x, and 0 plus 2 is positive 2, and our x of 2 is 2. So the solutions are negative 7 and positive 2. Let us now do the checking rather. We have x of 1 equals to negative 7 over 2. Let us substitute. X will become negative 7 over 2 or negative 7 halves. So it will become 2 times the quantity negative 7 over 2 quantity squared plus 3 times the quantity negative 7 over 2 minus 14 equals to 0. We have to solve first the exponent. So we have negative times negative, that is positive. 7 times 7, we have 49. Sorry, 7 times 7 is 49, that is correct. 2 times 2 is 4, so we have, 49 divided by 4, 49 over 4. What about 3 times negative 7 over 2? It will become negative 21 over 2, and then bring down negative 14 equals to 0. After that, all you have to do is multiply 2 to 49. Or you can do the cancellation. How many 2 do we have in 2? We have 1. How many 2 do we have in 4? We have 2. So 1 times 49, it's 49 divided by 2, or 49 over 2. Bring down negative 21 over 2. Bring down negative 14. After that, since we have seen these, they are similar fractions, we can do the operation minus. So 49 minus 21, we have 28 over 2. All you have to do is copy the denominator 2, and then bring down negative 14. 28 divided by 2, that is 14, minus 14 equals 0, and they're equal because 0 is equal to 0, meaning we are going to accept negative 7 over 2, or negative 7 halves. What about the other solution, or the other root, which is 2? Again, substitution. X will become 2, so we have 2 times the quantity 2 squared plus 3 times 2 minus 14 equals 0. So we have to square 2. We have 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 3 times 2 is 6. So we have what do we have here? This one will become 4 times 2 will become 8. 3 times 2, it will become 6, so plus 6. Bring down, or minus 14, equals to, okay, 0. So what is 8 plus 6? It's 14 minus 14 equals 0. So 0 equals 0. They are equal. So what do we have to do now? Okay, we can accept 2 as a solution to the quadratic equation 2x squared plus 3x minus 14 equals 0. And the other solution is negative 7 over 2. That will be all for today. I hope you learned a lot in our lesson for today. See you next time.